The construction site of the Metropolis Tower was dark, lit only by the distant city glow and scattered security floodlights. A massive scaffold webbed the lower 50 floors, appearing as nothing more than a temporary support structure. At the main gate, 70-year-old Walter Wally Vance, the night watchman, sat in his booth sipping cold coffee. He was small and slight, wearing a faded high-visibility vest that hung loosely on his frame. The quiet was shattered by the arrival of a battered utility van, which burst through the temporary barriers and skidded to a stop, kicking up a cloud of dust. 3 large men, employees of rival Titan developers, piled out. They carried tools clearly intended for destruction: thermal lances and high-torque cutters, not construction. "All right, old man," the leader, a bruiser named Sal, growled, kicking open the booth door with unnecessary force. "We're here to check for faulty wiring. You haven't seen anything, understand?" "You look away," Wally sighed, slowly placing his mug down with deliberate calm. "Vandalism, gentlemen, really? You risked a 3rd-degree felony and the certainty of a massive corporate fine for a job that pays peanuts? Titan is desperate." "Shut up and stay put," Sal snarled, shoving Wally against the wall of the booth. The watchman, offering no physical resistance, slid his hand near the bulky, ancient radio unit sitting on the counter. His fingers found the familiar, slightly rough edge of the concealed toggle switch. "It's not worth it," Wally murmured, not a plea to them, but a professional assessment to himself, judging their effort against the certainty of their failure. As the saboteurs ran toward the scaffolding access, carrying their tools intended to make surgical, non-obvious cuts to critical structural supports, Wally acted. He didn't touch the microphone. Instead, he deftly flipped the concealed toggle switch underneath the console. A single, small red LED flashed momentarily on the scaffolding diagram taped to the wall, confirming system lock and transmission, then went dark. The loud, aggressive music on the radio instantly cut out, replaced by a low, rhythmic chirp, burst of heavily encrypted data transmission lasting less than 2 seconds. It was a digital ghost, transmitting at a power level designed to bypass general atmospheric interference but instantly trigger any sensitive scanning equipment nearby. Sal's second-in-command, a tech-savvy man named Pete, stopped dead near the scaffolding access ladder and spun around, pulling a customized smartphone from his pocket. "Hey, what was that frequency? I just caught a weird spike on my phone directional strong signal from that scaffolding. It was wide-band, military-grade pulse." Wally leaned back in his chair, suddenly relaxed. The tension had evaporated, replaced by the calm authority of a man executing a flawless, long-planned operation. "That Mr. Pete," Wally said, picking up a frayed, custom-made headset, a relic that looked like it belonged to a World War II bomber pilot, and carefully adjusting the foam earpieces, was the activation of the passive data shunt. "You see this scaffolding? You see the thousands of steel joints, the miles of copper wiring, and the aluminum sheeting?" He slipped the headset on. The rhythmic chirping now filled the small booth, inaudible to the men outside, a clear, steady stream of decoded communication data pouring directly into his ears. "When I was with the Army's 704th Military Intelligence Brigade, Signals Warfare Branch, we learned to use anything chain-linked fences, microwave towers, even power lines as an opportunistic antenna," Wally continued, his voice now crisp and chillingly precise. This structure, gentlemen, is a half-mile wide, 90-foot high, perfectly aligned grid of conductive metal. It is the single largest, most powerful, and most stable unintended phased array antenna on the eastern seaboard. The passive induction from the city's microwave and television traffic is enough to power a small receiver, and the metal joints act as natural resonant cavities. And for the last 4 months, I have been using it to listen to you. Titan developers. The 3 Titan men stared, frozen between their sabotage mission and the bizarre sight of the watchman casually wearing an antique headset while revealing a high-level espionage operation. Wally tapped a key on his hidden keyboard, a compact unit integrated into the radio console's housing. On the small, dusty monitor next to the radio, the rapidly scrolling, encrypted raw data suddenly cleared. It was replaced by a live, clean transcript of a text chat group. The frequency you detected, Pete, is a narrow-band directional microwave signal bouncing off the Metropolis Tower's structural core, using the reinforcement bar grid as a natural reflector, Wally explained, leaning forward slightly. It transmits a decrypted, real-time feed of the Titan developers' executive strategy private network directly to my laptop. Your whole team uses an outdated 128-bit ease encryption layer that I broke 4 months ago, using little more than frequency correlation and a decent graphics card running CUDA. It was almost insulting how easy it was. Wally pointed to the screen with a clean finger. Right now, your CEO, Mr. Donovan, is instructing his lead engineer to hold back the structural stress report until the Q3 earnings call to depress Metropolis stock artificially. He is also mentioning a shell company, Chimera Holdings, to funnel bailout funds once the sabotage is revealed, effectively ensuring a hostile takeover. Sal finally moved, his face red with impotent rage, taking a menacing step forward. You're bluffing, old man. You're just a night watchman. We'll tear this shack apart and smash your antique gear. I am a retired Chief Warrant Officer Five, Signals Intelligence. My last field operation involved penetrating and decoding the communications of a hostile government's nuclear facility using nothing but a rusted drainage pipe and a modified shortwave receiver. Wally countered, his voice cutting and authoritative. I have eavesdropped on actual hostiles and actual theaters of war. You people are criminals relying on amateur-grade consumer VPNs and burner phones. Your entire sabotage plan, the planned cuts to the main structural supports at the 48th and 49th floors, the thermal lances, the timing, the fake company memo was decoded from your chief contractor's burner phone last week via passive collection of GSM burst transmissions. He tapped the keyboard one last time. And that little toggle switch I flipped, it didn't just activate my primary listening post. It initiated a data burst containing the final, critical transmission package. That package was a pre-queued encrypted distress signal sent to the FBI, the SEC, and the Attorney General's office simultaneously, containing 3 key attachments. The decrypted chat log you see here, the exact GPS coordinates of your vehicle and the radio signature of your phones, and a continuous 12-hour recording of your company's executive meetings, complete with clear instructions for stock manipulation and structural sabotage. It was all time-stamped and notarized by a remote server. The sound of rapidly approaching sirens, still distant but unmistakable, began to grow rapidly in the quiet night air their Doppler effect confirming high speed. "My job, gentlemen, was never to guard the gate," Wally concluded, taking off his headset and carefully wrapping the coiled wire around the ancient radio unit. "My job was to use the gate and the predictable impulse of desperate rivals as bait. Metropolis Constructors' legal team didn't need a security guard. They needed highly specialized technical asset who could establish proof of corporate sabotage beyond any reasonable doubt. And now they have 4 months of it, notarized and time-stamped, ready for the morning's trading floor." Wally stood up, holding his cold coffee mug, and stepped out of the booth, completely ignoring the stunned, defeated men. "Now, why don't you wait right here? I hear the police prefer it when you don't run. And please don't damage the scaffolding. It's an excellent antenna, and I plan on using it to listen to the corporate fallout from your CEO's office for the next 6 months.